Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Astronomer. This is a place where science meets stillness, where the mysteries of the universe unfold like bedtime stories. Here, black holes, galaxies, and stardust become gentle companions to your dreams. So settle in, breathe deeply, and let curiosity guide you into calm. You close your eyes and drift into the quiet of the night. Above you, far beyond the soft air and drifting clouds, stars burn with a steady light. For millions of years they shine, their radiance carried across space, reaching your eyes as tiny sparks against the dark. Each star feels timeless, eternal, but you know they are not. Even stars have endings. You picture one now, a star far larger than your own sun. Its glow has lasted countless ages, fueled by fusion, the steady burning of hydrogen into helium, helium into heavier elements. This furnace of light holds planets, asteroids, and dust in its embrace, shaping everything around it. And yet the star is not immortal. In time, its fuel runs low. The balance tips. Gravity, always patient, begins to pull more strongly than the fire can resist. You breathe slowly as you watch this star's quiet decline. Its outer layers tremble. Its core grows heavy. The fire flickers and falters. For a moment, the star brightens in a final blaze, as though it wants to say goodbye. Then, with gravity pressing inward, it collapses. The collapse is not gentle, it is swift, unstoppable, a fall inward through itself. The star shrinks beyond comprehension, matter crushed into densities your mind can barely imagine. And when the collapse reaches its limit, a new presence emerges. A black hole. The star is gone, but in its place remains a silence so deep that not even light can escape. You imagine yourself near this newborn black hole. Around it, space bends, time stretches, the last light from the dying star circles for a moment before vanishing. You sense the horizon forming, the boundary where even photons cannot return. It is called the event horizon, but to you it feels like a veil, soft and dark, where stories pass inward but never outward. And yet the black hole is not only an ending, its birth carries the seed of beginning. What was once a star becomes something new, something that will shape its surroundings in unseen ways. Its presence is quiet, but its influence vast. You rest in this paradox. How often have you thought of endings as final? Yet here in the collapse of a star you see that an ending can create a new role, a new form. The black hole is not the absence of meaning, but another way of shaping the cosmos. Close your eyes and imagine drifting closer. The black hole itself is invisible, hidden within its horizon. What you see is not the hole, but the silence it creates, the absence of light, the curve of space around it. Matter nearby swirls into a glowing disk, heating as it falls inward. From destruction comes radiance, brief but brilliant. You feel the quiet weight of this image. The cosmos is not cruel in these transformations. It is patient, rhythmic, flowing. Just as waves rise and fall, just as breaths fill and empty, so do stars live and collapse. Black holes are part of that rhythm, not interruptions but continuations. You allow the image to soften further. Think of your own life, how endings you once feared have sometimes given way to beginnings you could not yet see. The star's collapse mirrors your own transitions. What falls away is not gone. It reshapes itself into something else. The black hole whispers of this truth without words. As you drift deeper, you imagine the horizon again. It is not a wall, not a barrier. It is a threshold. To cross it is to move beyond what can be seen, beyond what can return. For the traveller falling inward, the passage may feel ordinary, a continuation of motion. But for you, the observer outside, time slows, moments stretch, and the traveller seems to freeze at the edge. The horizon becomes a place where time itself learns to move differently. This thought soothes you. Time is not fixed, not absolute. It bends, it flows, it adapts. Just as your own sense of time changes, how moments of joy feel short and grief feels long, so too does the universe hold many rhythms. The black hole teaches you that time is not a single thread, but a fabric woven with different stretches. You breathe slowly, letting this rhythm guide you. Each inhale feels like the stars long burning, steady and bright. Each exhale feels like the collapse, swift and inevitable. And in the pause between breaths, you feel the silence of the black hole, the calm of what lies beyond light. The universe continues even with the star gone. The black hole remains, shaping its environment, pulling gently on nearby stars, guiding matter into new orbits. It becomes part of a larger story, unseen yet essential. You sense this in yourself as well, that your own presence, quiet or unnoticed, shapes the lives around you. You're not separate from the web. You're part of the sculpting. You drift further into calm. The black hole's horizon darkens, but it does not frighten you. It feels like rest, like the moment before sleep when thoughts dissolve into stillness. You realize that black holes, for all their mystery, are also metaphors of rest, places where light itself lays down, where time slows to silence. The thought carries you deeper. Endings are not erasures, they are transformations. The star is not gone, it has changed. And in that change, new patterns will form. Galaxies shaped, orbits altered, light bent into arcs. The silence becomes creation in another form. You linger on this final image, a whisper at the edge of light. The black hole does not speak loudly. Its presence is felt in curves of space, in slowed time, in the glow of what falls toward it. It is quiet, patient, sculpting the cosmos without voice. As you rest in this thought, your awareness softens. The horizon fades into shadow, the star's memory dissolves. And yet another question stirs gently. If time itself slows near the horizon, what does it mean to pass into such silence? The question glimmers softly, guiding you toward the next mystery. You lie very still and feel the weight that keeps you here. A softness pressing you toward the mattress, a quiet hand on the shoulder of your body. Gravity does not shout. It does not rush. It waits, it holds, it gathers. Even now it threads you to earth so gently that you rarely notice the thread at all. When you step outside and tilt your head to the night, gravity is there too, cradling the air around you, guiding the moon in her slow procession, shaping the gliding curves of satellites. It is patient enough to steady oceans, yet precise enough to tug a dewdrop into place. You imagine it as a lullaby, humming beneath every sound. In pictures and lectures, gravity is often shown as a grid that bows under a heavy sphere. You remember that image because it is simple, because it makes the invisible visible. A mass sits on the fabric of space-time and the fabric bends. Anything that passes nearby rolls toward the dip, like a marble crossing a trampoline and falling into the hollow. Tonight, you do not need equations to feel this. You only need your breath and the sense that you are being held. The Earth tucks you in with roughly the same acceleration that cradles apples and astronauts. In orbit, the feeling shifts. Astronauts seem to float not because gravity vanishes, but because they and their spacecraft are falling together, missing the ground in a constant sideways rush. Falling without end is another way to call it flight. The thought smooths your mind. Out beyond the clouds, planets follow their quiet ellipses. The sun pins them all with its mass, curving the path of each world just enough to keep it from drifting away. You picture the system as a mobile in the dark, planets turning around a central warmth. The same rule that holds you holds them. Gravity is not a special effect reserved for giants. It is a common language spoken by every grain of dust. If you look farther still, you see stars gathering into clusters, clusters into galaxies. Gravity builds these structures over billions of years, pulling matter from the fog of the early cosmos and arranging it with unhurried care. It is the sculptor Pusada with infinite time, chiseling not with steel but with patience. Where matter is dense, gravity deepens the curve. Where matter thins, the curve relaxes. Now, follow one thread of this curve toward a place where it grows steep, steeper, steepest, a place where the same gentle law becomes irresistible. A massive star has burned for ages, balancing two partners in a delicate duet, the outward push of hot fusion and the inward pull of gravity. When the fuel thins, the duet loses balance. Gravity steps forward, not angrily but inevitably. The core squeezes, the star's layers tumble inward, and in a breath of cosmic time the curve becomes a cliff. This is how a black hole begins, not with malice but with continuity. Gravity does not change, it follows its rule to the limit. The mass that was spread through the star is pressed into a smaller and smaller region, and space-time answers by bowing more deeply around it. The bend becomes so extreme that the paths which once curled past now spiral inward. Light itself, the fastest traveller the universe allows, finds the road slanting down with no path back up. You hover in imagination at a safe distance and watch the story unfold. Gas that once drifted lazily now quickens, swirling into a disk. Friction within the flow heats it, and the rim of the whirl begins to glow, a luminous halo around a darkness no eye can see. You listen for sound and hear none, yet your mind supplies a hush, like standing near a waterfall behind thick glass. The pull is mute, but absolute. What is gravity truly? You hold the question like a smooth stone. In Newton's telling, it is a force through space, a pull between masses. In Einstein's telling, it is geometry. Matter tells space-time how to curve, space-time tells matter how to move. Two stories describing one tenderness. Like prose and poetry about the same night sky, both help you feel the shape of what holds you. Return to your body for a moment. Your chest rises and falls. Blood moves in quiet circuits, a river persuaded by pressure and the earth's pull. Bones grow dense under weight. Muscles learn your particular gravity and adapt to it. Astronauts must practice to keep those muscles awake, because when weight recedes, the body listens and forgets. In this way, gravity writes habits within you, a script your tissues read in silence. It writes habits in light as well. Starlight passing near a massive object bends, the beam tracing the curvature like a finger following the rim of a bowl. Telescopes catch multiple images of the same distant galaxy. Gravitational lensing. It is a quiet affirmation that the dip in the fabric is real. Light, which obeys no one, still honours the curve. As the curve steepens toward a black hole, time itself begins to breathe differently. You could set two clocks ticking, one far away, one drifting toward the dark, and watch them disagree. To the falling clock, time feels ordinary. To the distant one, the falling seconds stretch and thin. Gravity is not just a hand on space, it is also a hand on time, smoothing some moments and drawing others out like taffy. This is no illusion. It is the pace of reality changing with the train. You might wonder whether gravity is always kind. It can certainly be fierce. It gathers comets into bright ends, collapses mountains, tides the seas until shores learn a new line to draw. And yet even its fierceness is rule, not rage. The apple falls, the orbit holds, the path curves. The wave returns, gravity keeps its promise. In that honesty there is comfort. Now the night grows quieter, and you let your thoughts drift toward the steep places, toward regions where gravity's net tightens into something like silk drawn taut. You're approaching the threshold that defines a black hole, the last ring where light can still skim away if it aims perfectly. Inside that ring, no path leads outward. The net closes with the finality of a door that fits its frame. You pause on this side and listen. The darkness ahead is not empty. It is a region where the pattern continues past the limits of return. There is more of the same rule awaiting, only deeper down. You sense that if you were to cross the threshold, your path would be as natural as any path you have ever taken, but from here you will never watch yourself go. The boundary belongs to appearances, to what can be seen. In a moment you will lean closer to this threshold and give it a name. You will look at how it disguises itself, why it seems like a surface when it is only a point of no return. You will see how time behaves at its lip, how light skims and stalls, how stories disappear from view. For now you breathe with the planet that holds you, honouring the net that steadied the road from star to shadow. Gravity has guided you this far with patience. It will guide you one step further, to the place where the thread of light thins and a veil appears, and the universe teaches you to listen to silence as if it were a kind of glow for you now. You drift closer now, guided by gravity's patient hand. The path curves downward, space stretching, time slowing until before you rises a boundary. It does not shine or glow, it does not ripple with warning. It is quiet, invisible, a place known not by sight but by absence. This is the event horizon, the veil that defines a black hole. You pause here, at its edge. The term event horizon is simple. It is the horizon beyond which events cannot return to you. Just as a sailor cannot see what lies beyond the sea's horizon, so you cannot glimpse what happens once light itself has crossed this line. It is not a wall in space, it is a boundary of vision. Imagine standing on a hill at twilight. Beyond the ridge, the valley continues. but you cannot see it. Your view stops at the hilltop. The valley exists, but it is hidden from you. The event horizon is like that. Beyond it, space continues, but no signal, no message, no flicker of light can return to tell you the story. What remains is a quiet veil of unknowing. You let this idea soothe you. There is calm in recognizing limits, in realizing that not every path is meant to be seen. The horizon does not erase, it conceals. What lies within belongs to silence. From far away, you picture a star drifting toward the horizon. To you, its motion slows as it nears the edge. Its light stretches, turning redder, dimmer, as though it is fading into dusk. Finally, at the boundary itself, the star seems to stop. It freezes, suspended in time. Yet this is only your perspective. To the star, the fall continues smoothly, naturally, with no pause at all. The horizon is not a surface it touches. It is a moment where your seeing ends. You linger on this paradox. The horizon teaches that appearances depend on where you stand. For the falling traveller, there is no wall. For the distant watcher, there is only stillness. Both views are true, yet neither is complete. The veil holds them together without contradiction. You imagine yourself stepping closer, feeling the fabric of time stretch. Each second you measure near the horizon seems to lengthen. Your heartbeat slows, your breath drifts. Yet within you, time feels unchanged. You carry your rhythm inside while the universe outside sees you drift into silence. The horizon is a mirror, showing two truths at once. Scientists describe this stretching with equations, but tonight you need only metaphors. Picture honey poured slowly onto a plate. It spreads outward, thinning, slowing until it seems to freeze. The horizon is like that, an endless thinning of time seen from afar. Yet within the flow, the honey still moves, still settles. Both the stillness and the motion are real, depending on how you look. The veil also bends light itself. Photons skimming near the edge are caught in delicate orbits, circling like moths around a flame. Some escape outward, carrying the last glimpse of what fell. Others spiral inward, never to return. Around the horizon, you might see a ring of brightness, the glow of matter burning as it descends. But within the veil, no light shines back. The darkness is perfect. And yet the perfection of that darkness is not frightening. It is calm, steady, absolute. The horizon is not chaos but order, a boundary drawn cleanly by gravity's hand. You breathe into that order, finding rest in its simplicity. Consider how often in life you face horizons of your own. There are moments when you cannot know what lies ahead, when choices carry you past points of return. The event horizon becomes a metaphor for those times. You cannot see beyond them, yet the path continues. Not knowing is not the same as ending. The veil does not stop the journey, it only hides it from view. You rest in this thought, letting the image of the horizon soften. It is not an obstacle, it is a transition, a crossing from the visible into the unseen. Just as nightfall covers the land in shadow, yet life continues beneath it, so the horizon covers the interior, yet the universe carries on. Imagine yourself at its threshold. The veil stretches before you like a silent curtain. You reach for it, and your hand finds no resistance. There is no sensation of passing through, only the continuation of falling. And yet, to the eyes of those left behind, you have vanished, your story erased from their view. In this way, the horizon teaches the truth of separation. What passes within belongs no longer to the outside. You think of memory, of how people you once knew are no longer near, their lives carried forward beyond your sight. They too have crossed horizons in your life. Their stories continue, though you cannot see them. The event horizon becomes a cosmic reflection of this truth. What disappears from you is not lost, only hidden. The veil also hints at deeper mysteries. Scientists ask what happens to information that crosses the horizon. Is it gone forever, dissolved into silence, or does it linger, imprinted somehow on the surface, preserved in ways we cannot yet see? The debate continues, but for you tonight, the question is not about answers. It is about wonder. You let yourself rest in the not knowing, the gentle possibility that mystery itself has value. The horizon is a quiet teacher. It reminds you that boundaries are part of life. They are not meant to be broken but honoured. To stand at a horizon is to acknowledge both the known and the unknown. To step across is to trust that the path continues. You breathe again, slow and steady. The veil of the event horizon settles into your imagination like a soft curtain falling at the end of a play. The scene is not finished. It is only hidden. You wait in the hush, knowing the story continues behind the curtain. And as you rest in this hush, another thought stirs gently. If time stretches near the horizon, if appearances diverge, then what does time itself mean here? How does the rhythm of seconds transform when pressed by gravity's deepest hand? The question glimmers like starlight bending at the edge, guiding you onward. You're still at the veil, the quiet edge where light surrenders. And here another mystery arises, soft as a tide. The way time itself begins to slow, you breathe into the thought, sensing its strangeness. For you, time is usually steady, ticked out in the rhythm of clocks and the beating of your own heart. But near the horizon of a black hole, time bends like grass under wind. Imagine holding two clocks. One stays with you, far from the black hole. The other drifts closer, its steady hands turning as it falls. From your safe distance, you watch. The closer the second clock moves toward the horizon, the slower its ticking becomes. Each second lengthens, stretching into something like eternity. From your perspective, the clock nearly stops at the edge. Yet the clock itself does not know this. For the traveller carrying it, time feels normal. The heart beats, breaths come and go, thoughts drift. Inside the fall, nothing changes. Outside the fall, everything slows. Two truths coexist, both real or each bound to a perspective. You let this paradox calm you. It teaches that time is not an absolute master but a participant, flexible, shaped by gravity itself. Where mass is great, time stretches. Where gravity is strongest, time whispers. You think of your own life and how time changes in feeling. Moments of joy pass too quickly, slipping through your hands like water. Moments of sorrow linger, heavy, stretching into long hours. This is not physics, yet it mirrors the truth. Time is not always even. It can be elastic, shaped by context, by presence, by weight. The black hole becomes a cosmic version of this. Its gravity bends space so deeply that even time bows. A second near the horizon is not the same as a second far away. You rest in this softness, grateful that even something as rigid as time can be gentle and pliant. Now imagine yourself as the traveller falling inward. To you, nothing is strange. Your clock ticks as always. You look outward, and the universe beyond seems to rush. Stars whirl more quickly, distant processes accelerate. It is as though the outside is racing ahead while you move in steady calm. Time's flow is relative, and where you stand determines its rhythm. This is called time dilation, but to you it feels like a lullaby stretched thin. The song of the universe slows near the horizon, its notes drawn out into long, gentle tones. You listen to those tones now, letting their rhythm match your breath. The thought soothes you. Time itself can slow to help you rest. You're not caught in urgency, not trapped in rushing. You're suspended in gravity's embrace, seconds unfolding like petals opening in slow motion. Scientists measure these effects not only in theory but in practice. On Earth, clocks placed higher in buildings tick slightly faster than those closer to the ground. The difference is tiny, yet it proves the rule. Gravity stretches time. Near a black hole, this stretching becomes immense, visible, undeniable. You let this reminder sink in. The same laws that govern the deepest black holes are at work in your daily life. The universe is consistent, weaving the same fabric everywhere, whether in galaxies or in your own steps. This continuity brings comfort. You are part of a pattern that does not break. Think again of the traveller nearing the horizon. To you, watching from afar, they never quite arrive. They seem frozen, suspended just above the veil. Their light redshifts, stretching into longer and longer wavelengths, fading from sight. It is as though they are held in an eternal pause. Yet to them, the journey continues naturally, crossing the horizon without drama. This duality is not a flaw but a feature. It shows that truth has layers, that perspective matters. You rest in that thought, allowing yourself to accept that reality can hold contradictions gently. Both the pause and the passage are true depending on where you stand. You imagine now how this lesson applies to your own sense of life. Sometimes you feel frozen, waiting for change, while others see you as moving forward. Sometimes you feel you are rushing, while to others you appear calm. Time is always relative, always shaped by context. The universe reminds you that this is natural. Let the paradox ease you. You do not need to fix the pace of time. You can allow it to flow as it will, stretching when needed, quickening when needed. Like a river winding through hills, time curves and bends, and you are carried gently along. Picture yourself lying near the horizon, watching the universe above. Stars circle, galaxies drift, ages pass. From your perspective, the cosmos accelerates, moving forward through epochs while you remain in your own steady flow. The black hole becomes a window into deep time, showing you the vastness of history in a single glance. This vision comforts you. It suggests that patience holds power, that stillness can reveal what motion alone cannot. In the slow whisper of time, you see more than in its rush. You breathe again, steady, slow. Each inhale is a moment, each exhale an eternity. Time is not only measured by clocks, it is felt in breath, in presence, in awareness. You rest in that awareness now, listening to the quiet dilation of seconds. The event horizon glows faintly in your imagination, though no light escapes. It is a threshold where time itself folds, where seconds stretch beyond recognition. It is not frightening. It is tender, a reminder that even the deepest rules of reality are flexible. And yet, as you rest here, another thought stirs. If time stretches infinitely at the horizon, what lies at the very center, where gravity grows without bound? What secret is hidden there, where equations falter and silence deepens? The question waits like a shadow at the core, guiding you inward. You have lingered at the horizon, where time slows and light fades. Now your thoughts are drawn inward, toward the very center, where the veil hides something deeper still. Here lies the singularity, a word whispered by physicists with both awe and hesitation. The singularity is not a place you could ever stand. It is not a surface, not a core like the center of Earth. It is a point where our knowledge falters. Imagine compressing matter so completely that its density grows without limit. At the singularity, gravity becomes infinite. Space and time curve so steeply that our equations can no longer describe them. You rest in this thought, letting the strangeness wash over you. The singularity is not defined by what it is, but by what we cannot say about it. It is a silence in the middle of the cosmos, a question written into the very fabric of reality. Picture the life of the star that birthed it. Its atoms fused, its light travelled, its gravity held planets. For millions of years, it lived a story. Then in its collapse, all that story was drawn inward. The atoms, the light, the history of a star were pressed into a point too small for vision, too dense for comprehension. This point remains, hidden at the heart of the black hole. Though unseen, it sculpts everything around it. The horizon is shaped by its pull, the disk of gas glows because of its hunger, the orbits of stars bend in its presence. You cannot look directly at it, but you can feel its influence in the patterns it creates. This too is a metaphor for life. Many truths cannot be seen directly, but their presence shapes the world. Love is not visible, yet you see its traces in gestures, in words, in quiet sacrifices. Memory is not visible, yet it shapes your choices. The singularity is like this, an invisible center known by what it causes. Scientists describe it with caution. According to general relativity, the equations predict infinite density, infinite curvature, but infinities are a sign of limits, not of final truth. They suggest that our theories are incomplete, that another layer of understanding waits to be discovered. Quantum physics may soften the singularity, replacing the point with something richer, something hidden in the weave of particles and fields, but for now, the singularity remains mystery. You breathe into this mystery, not demanding answers. There is comfort in knowing that even science, with all its clarity, carries questions it cannot yet resolve. The singularity is a reminder that knowledge has boundaries, and boundaries are places of wonder. Imagine yourself drifting inward, beyond the horizon, toward this unseen point. You cannot see it, but you can sense its gravity growing stronger. Space narrows, time folds, everything is drawn toward the center. The singularity is not a thing but a destination, a focus of motion. It is the inevitable end of the inward fall. Yet the singularity is also a beginning. From it, new shapes emerge. Galaxies are sculpted, stars are guided, energy is released. The hidden center is not idle. It works constantly, shaping the cosmos even as it remains unseen. This paradox calms you. Something you cannot see as essential, something you cannot describe shapes beauty. The singularity whispers of the unseen forces in your own life, those inner truths you carry quietly, shaping your choices, even if no one else can see them. You picture now the equations of Einstein flowing across a blackboard. They curve and connect, describing space-time with elegance. But near the singularity, the equations falter. They break into infinities, their language failing. It is as if mathematics itself pauses, humbled by what lies inside. This pause is not failure, it is invitation. It reminds you that mystery is not the absence of truth, but the space where new understanding will grow. The singularity is not an end to thought, but a beginning of deeper thought. You let yourself drift further into this idea. Imagine the singularity not as a point of destruction, but as a seed. A seed holds within it patterns invisible to the eye, roots, branches, leaves, all contained in silence. The singularity may hold something similar, a hidden structure that one day will be revealed, a truth that will sprout from mystery. Until then, it remains quiet, and that quiet is soothing. Not every question must be answered tonight. Not every mystery must be solved. You can rest in the presence of what cannot yet be known. Your body softens with this thought. The singularity is not a threat in your imagination. It is a symbol of humility. It reminds you that even the greatest minds face silence, and in that silence there is peace. You linger here for a moment longer at the hidden center. You do not try to see it. You only feel its gravity, its influence, its quiet presence. The black hole is sculpted by it. The galaxy is shaped by it, and you are comforted by the thought that even the invisible can have power. And then, softly, your thoughts begin to turn outward again. For while the singularity is hidden, black holes themselves are not only destroyers. They shape the cosmos on called grand scales. At the heart of galaxies, they guide stars, arrange spirals, sculpt beauty. You have travelled inward, to the veil and to the singularity, where mystery rests in silence. Now, let your mind drift outward again, beyond the hidden core into the sweep of galaxies themselves. For black holes are not only silent centres of collapse, they are sculptors, shaping entire cosmic cities of stars. Imagine the Milky Way stretching across the sky on a clear night. Its river of light arches above, billions of stars woven together like threads in a luminous fabric. From Earth you see only a slice, a narrow ribbon of brilliance. But in your imagination you drift outward, away from your planet, until the whole galaxy spreads before you. A spiral with arms curving gracefully, each arm a trail of suns and dust, nebulae and star clusters. At the very centre of this spiral lies something unseen, a supermassive black hole. Ours is called Sagittarius. A star, a giant 4 million times more massive than the Sun. It sits quietly, not devouring recklessly, but its gravity anchors the entire galaxy. Without this anchor, the spiral might loosen, stars might wander, the galaxy might lose its form. You breathe slowly into this vision. A dark heart, hidden from sight, holds a vast structure in place. Its silence is stability. Its gravity is guidance. The galaxy's beauty is not separate from the black hole's presence. It depends upon it. You imagine this black hole as a sculptor sitting silently at the center, chisel in hand, carving not stone but starlight. Its tool is gravity, its canvas the sweep of orbits. Each star that circles near the core feels its pull, and together these countless motions create harmony, like dancers moving in rhythm to music you cannot hear. Some galaxies hold even larger black holes, billions of times the Sun's mass. These giants feed occasionally, drawing gas into bright disks that outshine entire galaxies. Yet between these feasts, they rest, their gravity still shaping the paths of stars. They are patient artists, working across billions of years. You rest in the rhythm of this thought. Creation need not be loud, it can be slow, steady, unfolding in silence. The black hole reminds you that shaping beauty does not always mean adding. Sometimes it means holding together, giving form to what might otherwise scatter. Imagine now the orbits of stars near the galactic center. Astronomers have tracked them for decades, watching bright points of light whip around an invisible presence. These orbits trace the mass hidden at the core, confirming what cannot be seen directly. The black hole reveals itself not by shining, but by the way it sculpts motion. Its presence is written into the paths of others. This too is a lesson for you. Influence is not always about visibility. Sometimes the most powerful forces are unseen, known only by the way they guide the world around them. Your presence, your kindness, your choices may ripple outward in ways invisible, shaping lives just as surely as gravity shapes stars. Drift farther outward in an imagination, and you see other galaxies, each with its own hidden sculptor. Spirals with graceful arms, ellipticals with smooth halos, irregulars with tangled lights, all have black holes at their centers anchoring their forms. The cosmos is filled with these partnerships, visible beauty guided by invisible gravity. And yet the sculpting is not only gentle. Sometimes when gas streams inward, black holes ignite with energy. Accretion disks flare, jets of plasma shoot outward for thousands of light years. These outbursts regulate star formation, preventing galaxies from growing too quickly, keeping balance. The sculptor is not only a holder of form, but a regulator of growth, ensuring that galaxies remain in harmony. You let this balance soothe you. Even in destruction there is creation. Even in silence there is guidance. The black hole is both cradle and boundary, both stillness and fire. Picture the Milky Way again, spiraling gracefully in the dark. Each star, each planet, each drifting cloud of dust belongs to the larger whole. And at the center, unseen, sits the sculptor, its gravity stretching outward, threading every motion into a single design. You are part of this design. Your sun is only one star among billions, yet its path is guided by the same unseen hand. You are connected to the heart of the galaxy, bound by invisible lines of gravity. This thought comforts you. You are not separate from the cosmos. You belong to its structure, its rhythm, its balance. The same force that shapes galaxies shapes you. Your breath slows. You imagine yourself lying within the spiral arms, feeling the pull of the galactic heart. Its presence is not demanding, not heavy. It is steady, quiet, certain. You are held within its sculpture, part of its artistry. And then your thoughts widen further beyond one galaxy, to the great webs of galaxies stretching across the universe. Clusters gather, filaments connect, vast voids spread between them. Even here, supermassive black holes play their role, regulating growth, guiding structure, sculpting balance. The pattern is endless, the artistry vast. You find peace in this endlessness. It tells you that creation is not accidental. It is guided, shaped, held. The black holes remind you that silence and invisibility can be forms of strength, that what cannot be seen can still be essential. You linger on this thought. The sculptors of galaxies do not announce themselves. They do not shine. Yet their work is written in spirals of stars, in the glow of nebulae, in the harmony of cosmic form. Their artistry is patience itself, a beauty carved not in moments but in ages, and as you rest in this awareness, another image begins to form. Black holes are not always solitary sculptors. Sometimes they find partners, circling one another in great cosmic dances. These dances create ripples across space-time, waves that carry their rhythm through the universe. You have seen a black hole shaping the heart of a galaxy, holding stars in graceful spirals. But now imagine not one sculptor, but two black holes, drawn to one another, bound in orbit. Their meeting is not a clash, not at first, but a dance, slow and inevitable, guided by gravity's ancient hand. Picture the scene. Two massive objects, each born from collapse, approach over time. Perhaps they are the remnants of stars that once circled together. Or perhaps they are giants at the centers of merging galaxies. However their story began, they now find themselves locked in mutual embrace. Neither one dominates. Both curve space-time, and both respond to the other's curve. They circle, each tracing a path that winds around the other, a duet written in geometry. You let this vision settle in your mind. The dance is slow, lasting millions of years. Each orbit brings them closer, each revolution tighter. Their steps are patient, precise, unstoppable. They do not hurry, for the universe grants them endless time, and yet as they orbit, something subtle happens. Their motion sends ripples into space-time itself, gravitational waves. These waves travel outward like circles spreading on a pond. They carry energy away, and with that loss, the dancers draw closer together. Each ripple is a soft note of music, inaudible to human ears but real, deep, resonant. You imagine listening to this cosmic music. The tones are low, far below what you can hear. They are rhythms that stretch over seconds, minutes, hours. To detectors on Earth, like the instruments of LIGO, they appear as tiny vibrations, smaller than the width of a proton, yet they reveal the footsteps of giants. You rest in the thought that the universe itself sings. The black holes do not need instruments, do not need breath or strings. Their motion alone is enough to send waves through the very fabric of existence. The dance is music written into space-time. As the orbit tightens, the rhythm changes. The steps quicken, the tones rise. The black holes spiral toward one another, circling faster, radiating more energy. At the final moments, they rush together, merging into a single larger black hole. The waves surge, the last note rings out across the cosmos, and then the song fades back into silence. You breathe slowly, imagining this finale. It is not violent in your mind. It is graceful, a resolution to the dance, two presences becoming one. The new black hole rests, larger and quieter, its horizon wider, its silence deeper. The dance has ended, but its echoes travel outward forever. You think of dancers you have watched, partners moving across a floor, responding to each other's steps, balancing weight and rhythm. The black holes are like this, though their stage is space-time and their music is gravity. Even in the vast silence of the universe, the metaphor of a dance feels true. It comforts you to think that even the most immense objects move with grace. The discovery of these dances was not ancient but recent. In 2015, scientists first detected the ripples from a binary black hole merger. It was proof of what Einstein had predicted a century before, that space-time itself could vibrate, carrying information from distant events. The signal was faint, but it confirmed the music of the cosmos. You let this history soothe you. It reminds you that patience brings discovery, that even the quietest signals can be heard with careful listening. The universe whispers, and if you are gentle, you can hear its song. Think now of what this means for you. Sometimes your own life feels like a dance, steps circling, patterns repeating, movements pulling you closer or farther from others. Sometimes the dance is slow, sometimes quick, and sometimes, like the black holes, you merge with others in bonds of love, family, friendship, leaving behind echoes that ripple through time. You rest in this reflection. The cosmic dance is not separate from you. Its lessons reach inward, reminding you that motion, connection, and union are all part of existence. Picture once more the binary pair orbiting in silence. They do not rush. Their time is measured in millions of years, each orbit a patient step. The waves they send ripple outward, passing through galaxies, crossing unimaginable distances. Tonight, in your quiet room, you are listening not to sound, but to the idea of those waves, to the knowledge that the universe is never truly silent. Your breath slows again. Each inhale is an orbit, each exhale a ripple. You are part of the same rhythm, part of the same fabric. The dance of black holes mirrors the dance of your own life. Slow, graceful, inevitable, beautiful. And as you rest in this calm, another question rises softly. If black holes can dance and their music travels as waves across space-time, what does it feel like to float upon those waves, to drift with the ripples of the cosmic sea? The question lingers like a faint vibration carrying you forward. The dance of black holes still lingers in your imagination, two massive partnered as spiraling inward, their embrace sending tremors outward. Those tremors are not sound in air, nor light in space. They are ripples in space-time itself, waves that travel across the cosmos. Tonight, you turn your attention to those waves, letting them wash gently over your mind like a tide. Picture a still pond. Toss in a stone and circles spread outward, growing wider and softer as they go. Gravitational waves move in the same way, but their pond is the universe, and their ripples are changes in the fabric of space-time. Where they pass, distances stretch and squeeze, subtly, invisibly, too faint for human senses but real all the same. Imagine lying very still, your arms at your side, your breath quiet. If a gravitational wave passed through you now, your body would lengthen slightly, then shorten again, while the space between your shoulders would shift in the opposite way. You would never notice. The effect is smaller than the width of an atom, and yet, with instruments of extraordinary patience, scientists have learned to detect these motions. In 2015, the LIGO observatories heard the first confirmed whisper of such a wave. Two black holes had merged over 1 billion light-years away, their dance ending long before Earth even had complex life. Yet the final ripples of their union reached us, passing through our planet, stretching and squeezing space-time by a hair's breadth. Instruments caught it, recorded it, turned it into a sound, a rising chirp, brief and soft. For the first time, humanity had listened to the cosmos in a new way. You let this story calm you. It is proof that even the faintest signals, travelling across unimaginable distance, can still arrive. Nothing is too small, nothing too quiet. The universe is a sea, and its ripples eventually touch every shore. Gravitational waves come not only from black holes, but from neutron stars colliding, from violent explosions of massive objects, from the motions of the densest matter in existence. Each event is like a pebble or a boulder tossed into the cosmic pond, sending circles outward. Most waves are far too small to notice, but some are strong enough to feel with delicate machines. You picture the detectors now, enormous tunnels stretching for kilometers, lasers bouncing back and forth with exquisite precision. They measure distances so finely that they can sense a change smaller than a proton. It is like listening for a footstep in a storm, yet they succeed. Humanity, with patience and cooperation, has built ears large enough to hear the universe's whispers. This too is a metaphor for your life. Sometimes the signals you need are faint, almost invisible. But with patience, with the right tools of attention and care, you can notice them. The universe teaches you to listen gently, to wait for the ripples, to believe that what is small still carries meaning. Now imagine drifting on a vast ocean beneath a starry sky. The surface rises and falls in swells you cannot see, but you can feel them lift and lower your body. Gravitational waves are like that, tides of space-time lifting and lowering galaxies, stars, and even you. They remind you that you are part of the same sea, not separate from it, and the sea itself is endless. Ripples travel without tiring, carrying news of ancient events to every corner. They are messengers, silent and faithful. They tell us of collisions too distant to see, of dances hidden by darkness. They are history written not in light, but in motion. You breathe with this image. Inhale as the wave rises, exhale as it falls. Your breath becomes part of the rhythm, part of the cosmic sea. The universe moves around you and you float in its tide. Think of how much has been learned from these ripples. They confirmed Einstein's prediction, a century old, that gravity is not only force but wave. They opened a new window of astronomy, a way of listening beyond light. They showed that even silence contains information, that even darkness carries story. You rest in this knowledge, letting it soothe you. The universe is not closed. It speaks in many voices, light, particles, waves, and now you know one more. You are not deaf to the cosmos. You are part of its choir. Gravitational waves also remind you of patience. The signals are rare, the data subtle, the detection precious. Scientists wait for months, years, listening carefully, filtering noise, seeking the faintest tremor. This patience mirrors the patience of the cosmos itself, which unfolds across billions of years. To listen is to join in that patience, to let time flow without hurry. You let patience cradle you now. You do not need to rush to answers. You can listen quietly, letting waves pass, letting meaning arrive when it will. The universe waits, so can you. Picture again the ripples of a pond fading into stillness. The gravitational waves from a merger do the same. They radiate outward, growing weaker, until they vanish into the background. Yet their passing leaves knowledge, memory, proofs of what occurred. Even faint waves leave a trace. This comforts you. Your own actions, your own presence may seem small, but they ripple outward. A kind word, a gentle act, a quiet choice, each creates circles in the lives of others. They may fade, but they are never meaningless. The cosmos reminds you that ripples matter. You drift deeper into rest, your body soft, your thoughts slowed. The ripples of the cosmic sea rock you like a boat. You are carried, supported, part of a vast and endless ocean. And yet, as you float, another image arises. Some black holes do more than ripple quietly. Some blaze with light, feeding on matter, creating glowing disks and jets of energy. If ripples are whispers, these are flares, loud, brilliant, impossible to miss. The thought glimmers softly. What happens when darkness feeds, when silence gives birth to fire? You have floated on the ripples of the cosmic sea, listening to the whispers of collisions. Now your thoughts drift closer again, toward the black hole itself and the hunger that surrounds it. For a black hole does not always sit quietly in the dark. Often it feeds, and in that feeding it creates some of the brightest beacons in the universe. Picture matter near a black hole. Gas, dust, fragments of stars pulled by gravity's patient hand. They do not fall straight inward. Instead, they circle, like leaves caught in a whirlpool. The swirling grows tighter, faster, hotter. Friction between the particles ignites, and the gas glows, a ring of fire encircling the darkness. This is the accretion disk, a structure both beautiful and violent. Its light can outshine the combined stars of a galaxy. From destruction comes radiance. You let this paradox soothe you, the reminder that endings can birth brightness, that falling can create fire. Imagine watching such a disk. From afar you would see a halo around the black hole, glowing with colours invisible to the naked eye but blazing in X-rays and ultraviolet light. The gas spins near the speed of light, heated to millions of degrees. Its glow is the final cry of matter before it crosses the horizon. And yet the black hole itself remains unseen. The disk shines, but the centre is silent, absorbing without return. The contrast is striking, brilliance and silence side by side, destruction and creation entwined. You breathe into this image. It feels familiar, like the moments in your own life when struggle or loss has sparked growth, when collapse has made way for new light. The cosmos reflects your story back to you, showing that paradox is not conflict but harmony. Some black holes feed slowly, taking in only wisps of gas. Others feast, drawing torrents inward. When they do, their disks blaze as quasars, distant luminous objects visible across billions of light years. These quasars are cosmic lighthouses shining from the early universe, guiding astronomers toward the history of galaxies. You let this thought calm you. Even in the deep past, billions of years ago, light was born from darkness, and that light still reaches us today. The glow of feeding black holes is memory preserved in photons, a story carried across time. The feeding is not always quiet. Sometimes, instead of swallowing everything, black holes release jets, streams of plasma shot outward along magnetic fields, faster than imagination, stretching for thousands of light years. These jets shape galaxies, stirring gas, regulating star formation. The act of feeding becomes not only consumption but creation, sculpting balance in the cosmos. You linger on this paradox. To feed is to destroy, yet also to give. The black hole takes in matter, but in doing so it creates structures, regulates galaxies and lights the sky. You rest in the thought that even hunger can give back, even silence can create. Now imagine yourself drifting near such a disk. You see gas swirling in brilliant arcs, spiralling inward. The closer it comes to the horizon, the faster it spins, until it blurs into a luminous ring. The light flickers, bends, stretches, gravity pulling on photons, curving their paths. You are surrounded by radiance, yet at the centre lies stillness. The disk's glow is not steady but flickering like a candle in the wind. Instabilities ripple through it, clumps form and dissolve. The brightness shifts, sometimes pulsing like a heartbeat. These pulses are messages, telling astronomers about the size, spin, and nature of the black hole within. The feeding is not random. It carries information, like whispers encoded in light. You breathe gently, letting this rhythm match your own. The flickering becomes a lullaby of radiance, a reminder that even in turmoil there is pattern, meaning, song. The paradox deepens when you remember that the light you see comes not from within the horizon, but from matter resisting it. The glow is the last stand of particles, the final expression of energy before silence. The disk is not the black hole itself, it is the threshold, the stage of transformation. Beyond it, no light returns. You pause to rest in this idea. There are thresholds in your own life, moments when brightness appears just before a change, when struggle creates brilliance before surrender. The accretion disk is a cosmic mirror of those thresholds. Feeding black holes remind scientists of another mystery: information. When matter falls past the horizon, does its story vanish? Or is it somehow preserved, encoded in ways we do not yet understand? Hawking's work on radiation suggested that black holes may not be final vaults of silence after all, that they may slowly leak information back into the universe, but the full answer remains hidden. You allow the mystery to soothe you. It is not frightening that we do not know, it is comforting. Not every story is finished. Not every answer is given. The cosmos is still unfolding, still inviting curiosity. The disk itself teaches another truth. Beauty can be born from falling. The gas that spirals inward, losing altitude, losing freedom, creates light that travels outward, carrying its story across the cosmos. Loss becomes radiance, collapse becomes memory, even destruction becomes creation. You think of your own breath again. Each exhale is a release, a giving away of air. Yet that release carries life to the world around you. The act of letting go becomes creation, just as the disk's glow becomes light for the universe. Rest in that thought for a moment. Letting go is not always loss. Sometimes it is transformation, sometimes it is radiance. The black hole continues to feed, patient, silent. The disk glows, flickers, pulses, jets stream outward, galaxies shift. The sculptor works not only with gravity but with hunger, with fire, with paradox. You are part of this rhythm, held by the same fabric, guided by the same rules. And as you drift deeper into calm, another question rises. If black holes can create such brilliance while feeding, what happens when their hunger launches streams of light that pierce the universe itself? The thought glimmers ahead, like a jet of fire against the dark. You have seen the glow of the accretion disk, light born from matter falling into silence. Now imagine something even more astonishing. Jets of energy shooting outward from a black hole, racing across space for thousands of light years. These jets are among the most powerful events in the cosmos, and yet they arise from the same hunger, the same feeding that pulls matter inward. Picture it. A black hole sits at the center of a galaxy, gas swirling into its disk. Magnetic fields thread through the swirling plasma, twisting and tightening as the gas spins faster. Instead of everything falling inward, some of the energy is redirected outward, funneled along the poles of the black hole. From those poles, streams of particles erupt, traveling near the speed of light, cutting across galaxies like cosmic beacons. You rest in this image. It is paradoxical, yet real. The darkest objects in the universe can also be sources of immense radiance. They swallow, yet they give back. They silence, yet they shout across the cosmos. Astronomers see these jets stretching like luminous threads, sometimes longer than the galaxies that birthed them. Radio telescopes capture their glow, maps of invisible light tracing their reach. Where the jets strike gas clouds, they heat and stir, compressing matter, sometimes triggering the birth of new stars. The black hole in its feeding becomes not only a consumer but a creator, shaping galaxies far from its horizon. You breathe slowly, letting this paradox calm you. Creation and destruction are not opposites here. They are partners. The act of feeding becomes the act of giving. Energy taken in is energy released outward, written into the structure of galaxies. Now imagine yourself drifting alongside one of these jets. You do not feel heat or pressure, only the vastness of motion, particles racing beside you, light stretching across unimaginable distances. The jet seems endless, a river of fire flowing through the dark. Yet at its root lies silence, the black hole itself, invisible, patient, steady. This rhythm soothes you. It reminds you that strength can be both hidden and expressed. The black hole does not shine, yet its presence shapes brilliance. You too carry strengths unseen, yet they ripple outward in the ways you act, in the echoes you leave in others' lives. The jets are not constant. They flicker, flare, fade, depending on how much matter falls inward, how the magnetic fields twist. Their variability is part of their nature, just as your own expressions of energy rise and fall with your days. You need not always blaze, sometimes you rest, sometimes you flare. Both belong to your rhythm. Scientists study these jets with fascination, for they reveal much about black holes themselves, their spin, their magnetic fields, their feeding habits. By tracing the jets, astronomers learn the stories of galaxies, of how stars form, of how matter is distributed. The jets are messages, not only displays of power, but signals carrying knowledge. You let this thought ease you. Even in sculptors or messages travel. Even in darkness, signals exist. The cosmos is never empty, it is always speaking, if only you learn how to listen. Now think of the role these jets play in balance. Without them, galaxies might form stars too quickly, using up their gas in a rush of fire. The jets stir and heat the gas, slowing the process, stretching creation across billions of years. They are regulators, guardians of balance, keeping galaxies from burning out too soon. You rest in this reminder. Energy is not only about abundance, but about balance. Too much or too little, and harmony falters. The jets teach that even the most powerful forces can serve the gentle work of balance, ensuring that creation unfolds with patience. Imagine again the galaxy from afar. Its spiral arms gleam, its clusters shine, its center glows faintly with an accretion disk. And above and below, two jets extend luminous bridges reaching outward. The galaxy becomes not only a collection of stars, but a structure connected to the wider universe. Its heart sending threads into the dark. This vision comforts you. It shows that what is within can reach far beyond. The black hole does not keep all it takes. It gives, shaping places distant from its center. You too reach farther than you know, your presence extending in ripples, your actions carried outward in ways unseen. The jets eventually fade, their energy dispersing, their glow softening into the thick background of the cosmos, but their influence remains in the stars they triggered and in the gas they shaped, in the galaxies they balanced. Nothing is wasted. The gift continues long after the blaze is gone. You breathe with this thought. Nothing you give is wasted. Even if the signal seems faint, even if the light seems small, it leaves traces. Like jets across galaxies, your contributions extend farther than you can see. The black hole rests again, its feeding quieter, its jets dimmed. Yet the memory of their reach remains. The sculptor of galaxies has spoken in fire, and the cosmos has listened. As you drift deeper into calm, another question arises. Not all black holes are giants. Some are smaller, born from single stars, hidden in quiet corners of the universe. If the supermassive ones shape galaxies, what role do the smaller ones play? The thought lingers gently, drawing you onward. You have seen the supermassive giants at galactic hearts, shaping stars and sending jets across the universe. Now let your thoughts turn toward their smaller cousins, the stellar mass black holes. These are the remnants of single stars, far less massive than the giants, yet still immense in their strength. They are the smallest giants, quiet and often hidden, yet powerful beyond imagining. Picture a star much larger than the sun. It burns for millions of years, bright and restless, until its fuel runs out. When gravity overwhelms the fading fire, the star collapses. Sometimes the collapse creates a neutron star, dense and hot. But if the star is massive enough, the collapse goes further, crushing matter into a black hole only a few tens of kilometers across. Pause for a moment and hold that image. Something only as wide as a city, yet containing more mass than the sun. The density is beyond comprehension. If you were to scoop a teaspoon of such matter, it would weigh more than a mountain. These stellar mass black holes are tiny in size, but enormous in weight. Most are invisible. They give off no light of their own. They drift quietly through the galaxy, detectable only by their influence. If a star orbits nearby, its path will reveal the hidden companion. Sometimes gas flows from the star toward the black hole, spiraling inward and glowing as it falls. In these moments, the quiet giant reveals itself, its presence written in X-ray light. You breathe gently, letting this image calm you. Even in their silence, black holes leave traces. Even when unseen, their pull is real. You're reminded that the unseen parts of your own life, Your thoughts, your kindness, your choices shape the world around you, even if no one notices. Some stellar mass black holes live in binaries, orbiting with another star. The two move together, partners bound by gravity. When the black hole draws gas from its companion, the system shines in flickers and flares. Astronomers call these X-ray binaries tiny lighthouses marking the presence of the invisible. They remind us that even small black holes can shape the skies with brilliance. Others roam alone, silent travelers through the galaxy. The Milky Way may contain millions of these hidden giants drifting unseen, influencing only the space around them. They are reminders of how much lies beyond our vision, how much waits quietly in the dark. You imagine drifting beside one now, from afar. It is invisible. Stars glitter around you, nebulae glow, but the black hole itself is darkness. Only when you watch closely do you see how nearby stars move differently, their orbits bending, their light shifting. The black hole is known not by what it shows, but by what it changes. This too feels like a lesson. Influence is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it is subtle, shaping without being seen, guiding without being named. The stellar mass black holes teach that presence is not measured by size alone. Even the smallest giants hold immense power. Some of these black holes form pairs with others of their kind. When they orbit and eventually merge, they send gravitational waves across the cosmos, like the ones first detected by LIGO. These mergers prove that even the smallest giants can shake the fabric of space-time itself. Their dances are quieter than those of the supermassive giants, but no less real, no less powerful. You let this thought soothe you. Power does not always belong to the biggest, the brightest, the loudest. Even the small can hold immense strength that shapes the universe. Consider now the role of these stellar mass black holes in cosmic history. Each one is the grave of a massive star, a monument to stellar life. The galaxy carries them like memories, silent markers of what once shone. Yet in their silence, they influence the next generations of stars, shaping orbits, guiding matter, sending waves. They are both tombstones and sculptors, both endings and beginnings. You rest in the calm of this duality. The smallest giants carry the same paradox as the larger ones. Silence and power, invisibility and influence, destruction and creation. They are reminders that nothing is ever simple, that strength often hides in quiet places. Now picture yourself back on Earth, lying beneath the stars. Among the countless points of light, hidden in the spaces between, are these stellar mass black holes. You cannot see them, yet they are there, scattered through the galaxy. Some are close, only a few thousand light years away. Others are farther, their pull too faint to notice. You lie beneath them, unaware, yet still connected to their presence. This thought does not frighten you. It comforts you. The universe is vast, filled with hidden giants, yet you are safe, held by the same laws of gravity that guide them. Their silence does not threaten you. It simply reminds you of the depth of mystery. You breathe slowly again. Each breath feels like a connection, linking you to the unseen. The air you draw in once passed through stars, the atoms in your body once fused in stellar cores. You are connected to the life and death of stars and to the black holes they leave behind. You too are part of the story of the smallest giants, and as you rest in this awareness, another question begins to form. If a small black holes hide in the galaxy, what of the largest ones? At the centers of galaxies, beyond imagining, sit black holes millions or billions of times the sun's mass. What role do they play? The question hums softly, guiding you toward the next chapter. You have wandered with the smallest giants, the stellar mass black holes, only a few tens of kilometers wide, yet heavy as suns. Now let your thoughts drift farther, toward the truly immense, the supermassive black holes that live at the hearts of galaxies. These are not merely remnants of stars, they are the anchors of cosmic structures, the hidden centers of whole star systems. Imagine the Milky Way again, its spiral arms stretching across the dark. At its center, buried beneath clouds of dust and stars, lies Sagittarius, a star. It is quiet, faint, almost unnoticeable. And yet within that stillness resides the mass of 4 million suns. Compressed into a region smaller than the orbit of Mercury, it bends space so strongly that nothing nearby can resist. Every star in the galaxy, including your sun, ultimately circles this center, bound by its gravity. You pause to breathe in this realization. Your entire world, every life, every story is part of a galactic city, held together by a heart you cannot see. A hidden center holds it all. You rest in this thought, comforted by the idea that what is unseen can still provide structure and meaning. But Sagittarius. A star is only modest compared to others. Some galaxies hold black holes billions of times the sun's mass. These supermassive giants are ancient, formed in the earliest chapters of the universe. How they grew so large so quickly remains a mystery. Perhaps they were born from the collapse of the first stars, feeding steadily across ages. Perhaps they formed from massive clouds of gas collapsing directly. Whatever their origin, they became the supermassive hearts of galaxies, shaping the evolution of everything around them. Now picture one of these giants at work. As matter drifts inward, its accretion disk glows with unearthly brightness, brighter than entire galaxies. These feeding black holes become quasars, distant lighthouses shining from the young universe. Their light has travelled billions of years to reach you, carrying the memory of a time when galaxies were still forming. Quasars are reminders that even in the deep past, black holes were sculptors, shaping the growth of stars and galaxies. You let this image soothe you. The past is not gone. It shines still, carried across space as light. When you look at distant quasars, you see the universe as it was long before Earth existed. The supermassive hearts connect you to time itself, linking your moment to the vast ages before. Closer to home, astronomers have traced the orbits of stars around Sagittarius, a star. Tiny dots of light moving in tight ellipses. These stars whip around at extraordinary speeds, completing orbits in mere decades. Their motion reveals the invisible mass at the center, proof of the black hole's presence. You cannot see it directly, but you see its influence in the star's dance. This too is a lesson. Influence is not always about being seen. Sometimes it is about shaping the movements of others, quietly guiding without ever stepping into the light. The supermassive hearts remind you that hidden centers can hold everything together. Think now of how these giants shape galaxies on larger scales. Their feeding regulates star formation, their jets stir and heat gas, their gravity anchors the orbits of billions of suns. Without them, galaxies would be chaotic, unsteady, less likely to form the structures you see in the sky. The black hole is not an intruder in the galaxy's story. It is the central character, the silent architect. You rest in this image. The Milky Way is not scattered dust. It is a spiral with a heart, a pattern with a center. Your place within it is real, guided by the same gravity that holds stars and planets alike. You belong to this structure, this balance, this quiet order. And yet, for all their immensity, these supermassive black holes are still mysterious. How do they grow? How do they affect the evolution of galaxies over billions of years? How did the earliest ones appear so quickly after the Big Bang? These are questions that science continues to ask. And for you tonight, the questions themselves are soothing. You do not need the answers now. You can rest in wonder, in the knowledge that mystery remains. Imagine drifting near the center of a galaxy, surrounded by stars orbiting like bees around a hive. At the core unseen lies the black hole, steady and quiet. Its pull extends everywhere, keeping the galaxy whole. Without it, the hive would scatter. With it, the pattern endures. This vision comforts you. It tells you that unseen centers can hold great meaning. You think of the hidden centers in your own life, the values, memories, loves, and hopes that shape your choices. Others may not see them, but they guide your path, just as Sagittarius A star guides the Milky Way. You breathe slowly, feeling that hidden center within yourself. You too are anchored by unseen truths, by the quiet gravity of what matters most. Supermassive hearts remind you that stillness can hold power. They do not need to shine to matter. They do not need to move to act. Their gravity is enough, their presence is enough. And as you rest in this thought, your imagination begins to stir once more. For while these giants hold galaxies together, they are not always solitary. Sometimes galaxies merge, their stars colliding, their dust mingling. And when they do, their central black holes meet as well. The question rises gently. What happens when two supermassive hearts find each other, circling, dancing, and finally merging. The thought lingers like a deep vibration, guiding you toward the next chapter. You have rested with the supermassive hearts, hidden anchors of galaxies. Now imagine what happens when galaxies themselves meet, their spirals colliding, their stars mingling in a slow embrace. Within each galaxy, a black hole waits at the center, and when the galaxies merge, these central giants drift toward one another, drawn by their immense gravity. Their meeting becomes not a single moment, but a long prelude, a slow convergence measured in millions of years. Picture the scene. Two galaxies swirl together, their stars flung into new patterns, their gas clouds colliding and igniting. Amid the chaos, the black holes at their centers move gradually closer. They circle each other, orbit tightening step by patient step. Their motion sends ripples through space-time, waves traveling outward in every direction. Each ripple is like a note, deep and resonant, far beyond hearing. This is the choir of black holes, a chorus written in gravity. The universe does not need air or instruments to sing. It uses space-time itself, vibrating with waves that carry the memory of cosmic unions. You let this image soften your mind. Imagine a choir singing in a great cathedral, voices rising in harmony, filling the space with sound that seems to tremble in your chest. Gravitational waves are like that, but instead of stone walls, the cathedral is the universe itself, and instead of sound, the song is space-time stretching and relaxing. Astronomers have begun to listen for this choir. Instruments like LIGO and Virgo detect the short, sharp notes of smaller mergers, stellar mass black holes spiraling together. But there are also deeper tones, too low for those instruments, produced by the mergers of supermassive giants. These tones are so long that they span years, decades, even centuries. To hear them, scientists look not with lasers but with pulsars, distant stars that flash rhythmically like cosmic metronomes. When gravitational waves pass, the rhythm shifts ever so slightly, the beats stretching or compressing. By measuring these changes, astronomers can hear the choir of the largest black holes. You breathe slowly, letting this patience calm you. A song that takes years for one note to play is not hurried. It is steady, eternal, vast. Listening requires not only delicate instruments but also time itself. To hear the black hole choir is to join the universe in its slowness. The choir is not only soundless, it is also collective. Individual mergers add their voices, but together they form a background hum, a cosmic chorus always present, always singing. It is not a solo but a harmony, many voices blending into one. You imagine yourself drifting in that harmony now, surrounded by vibrations that cradle you like a lullaby. This vision soothes you. It tells you that even in silence there is music, even in darkness there is song. The black holes in their unions contribute to the greater harmony, just as each life, each presence adds to the chorus of humanity. Consider the final moment when two supermassive black holes merge. Their horizons touch, their singularities fuse, and a single larger black hole is born. The last waves ring out like a final chord, powerful and clear before fading back into quiet. The new heart rests, silent again, but its presence reshapes the galaxy around it. The choir's note lingers in space-time, travelling outward forever. You let this finale ease you. Endings are not silences, they are resolutions. The choir sings, then rests, and the universe continues. Now think of your own life. You too are part of choirs, families, friendships, communities, where individual voices join into harmony. Sometimes you sing alone, sometimes you blend. Sometimes the note you contribute is soft, almost unnoticed, but still essential to the whole. The black hole choir reminds you that every voice matters, every note adds to the song. Imagine lying back beneath the night sky, the Milky Way stretched above. You cannot hear the choir with your ears, but you can feel it with your imagination. Somewhere, black holes are merging, sending waves across space. Those waves pass through you now, stretching and compressing you by less than a fraction of a proton. You do not feel it, but it is real. The universe is singing through you, carrying its music into your body. This thought comforts you. You are not separate from the cosmos's song. You are part of it, moving with its rhythm carried by its waves. The choir also teaches humility. The notes it sings are deeper and slower than you can perceive, spanning timescales beyond human lives. To listen is to remember that you are small yet still included in the vastness. You are one listener among many held in the universe's cathedral, surrounded by its silent harmony. You breathe with this awareness. Each inhale is a note, each exhale a chord, and your body part of the greater choir. You rest in this music, letting it rock you like a lullaby. And yet, as you linger in this calm, another image forms. If black holes can sing in waves, how might we ever see them with our eyes? For centuries they remained invisible, known only by their influence. But now, with patience and ingenuity, humanity has captured their shadows in light. The question rises softly. What does it mean to glimpse the outline of darkness itself? The choir of black holes still echoes in your mind, vibrations rippling across the fabric of space-time. You have heard their song without sound. Now you turn to sight, to vision, to the long human yearning to see what cannot be seen. For black holes are, by definition, invisible. Their gravity swallows light. Their horizons hide every detail. For generations they existed only in equations and in imagination. And yet patient eyes and steady instruments have now captured their shadows, revealing darkness outlined by a light. Imagine standing at the edge of a mountain on a moonless night. No lamp, no flame, only darkness. You cannot see the valley below, but you know it is there by the way the stars disappear behind its outline. The black hole's shadow is like that. An absence framed by presence, a darkness traced not by what it emits but by what it prevents. This shadow was captured for the first time in 2019, when the Event Horizon Telescope, a global network of radio observatories, worked together to gaze at the centre of a distant galaxy called Messier 87. Astronomers connected telescopes across the Earth, from deserts to mountaintops, synchronizing them with atomic clocks. Together, they created a planet-sized lens, sensitive enough to resolve the unresolvable. For days, they listened to light at millimetre wavelengths, recording torrents of data, more than could be sent through cables. Hard drives filled with whispers of photons were flown by airplane to central places, where supercomputers assembled them into a picture. Slowly, patiently, the image emerged. A glowing ring, uneven, fiery, surrounding a dark centre. This was the shadow of a black hole, 55 million light-years away, its mass 6.5 billion times that of the Sun. You let this vision soften you. The black hole did not appear as a monster, not as a tear in reality, but as a quiet circle of darkness embraced by a light. Its ring was the glow of matter in the accretion disk, photons bending around the horizon, some captured, some released. The shadow itself was the absence, the silence framed by brightness. For the first time, humanity had seen the unseeable. Equations became image, imagination became vision. And in that moment, the universe revealed that patience, collaboration, and trusting curiosity can turn silence into sight. You breathe into this image. The ring of fire is not harsh. It glows softly in your mind, a halo around emptiness. You rest in the reminder that even absence has shape, that even silence can be outlined by presence. Think of the patience it required. Decades of theory, years of planning, nights of careful observation. Thousands of people, each contributing their skill, each holding a piece of the puzzle. The shadow is not only the story of a black hole, it is the story of humanity working together, joining instruments across the world to see beyond limits. This thought comforts you. It reminds you that great mysteries are not solved alone. They are approached together, with shared vision and shared effort. Just as no single telescope could capture the shadow, no single life carries the whole of truth. We see more when we join our perspectives, when we connect our visions like mirrors reflecting one another. The shadow of M87's black hole was only the beginning. In 2022, astronomers captured the shadow of Sagittarius, a star, the supermassive heart of our own galaxy. This image was harder to take, for the black hole is smaller and its accretion disk changes rapidly, flickering on timescales of minutes. Yet through patience and clever algorithms, its ring was revealed, a glowing circle of light surrounding the quiet heart of the Milky Way. You rest in this thought. To look at that image is to see the anchor of your own galaxy, the silent centre that holds you. It is like gazing into the heart of home, not in fear but in awe. The shadows remind us of something profound. Black holes are not pure darkness. They are interactions, relationships between light and gravity, between presence and absence. The ring of fire would not exist without matter to glow, without photons to bend. The shadow itself is not nothing. It is shape defined by the bending of everything around it. You pause with this metaphor. In your own life, absence too can hold meaning. The silence after a song, the pause between breaths, the spaces in memory, all can be outlines of presence, reminders of what has shaped you. The black hole's shadow becomes a mirror of this truth. The emptiness too has form. You breathe deeply, slowly, imagining the glowing ring. Its light has travelled millions of years to reach us, bent and twisted by gravity, patient in its journey. It arrives at Earth, where human hands and human minds transform it into an image. You are looking not only at light, but at time itself, time stretched across eons, now resting softly in your imagination. The image is not sharp like a photograph of a mountain or a face. It is blurred, imperfect, yet real. And perhaps that imperfection makes it more comforting. It reminds you that knowledge, like life, is not always clear. Sometimes it is hazy, sometimes incomplete, but still meaningful, still true. The ring of fire glows in your thoughts, steady, patient. Around it lies the shadow, silent, unseen. Together they form an image both simple and profound, light and dark, presence and absence, known and unknown. The universe has revealed itself not through clarity but through paradox. And as you rest in this awareness, another question begins to form. If light can be bent, if shadows can reveal, if absence itself has shape, then what of time, which also bends near horizons? How does the rhythm of seconds transform when pressed by gravity's deepest hand? The question lingers like a soft pulse, leading you gently toward the next mystery. The shadow of the black hole still glows in your imagination, a ring of fire around silence, proof that light can bend. Yet black holes bend more than light. They bend time itself. Near their horizons, seconds and hours lose their meaning. Time stretches, slows, dilates, until one moment becomes many. And so you drift now into dreams of time, letting them carry you like a slow river. Imagine standing at the safe edge, far from the horizon, watching as another traveller drifts closer. To you, the traveller seems to slow. Each movement takes longer, each heartbeat lingers. As they approach the horizon, their steps freeze. You never see them cross. To your eyes, they are caught forever at the edge, a ghostly image stretched in time. But for the traveller themselves, the story is different. Their clock ticks normally, their heart beats steadily, their thoughts flow. They do not feel slowed. To them, time is natural, even as the universe outside races ahead. In the moments it takes them to descend, centuries, millennia. Perhaps entire civilizations might pass beyond the horizon. This is time dilation, the bending of duration under the weight of gravity. Black holes reveal that time is not absolute. It is not the same for all. It depends on where you stand, how you move, how much gravity tugs at you. Time is not a universal drumbeat but a fabric stretched and curved, variable and alive. You breathe into this thought. Each inhale is a second, each exhale a century. The rhythm changes, but you remain steady within it. You rest in the idea that time too can flow differently, that you are not bound to a single measure. The dream of time travel has always stirred human imagination, as tell of journeys to underworlds where one night is 100 years. Stories speak of enchanted places where time flows differently. In black holes, science whispers the same possibility. A traveller near a horizon could see the universe outside speed ahead, watching stars age and galaxies evolve. Time machines may not exist in the way of stories, but time dilation is real, written into the physics of gravity. You let this possibility calm you. It is not about escape, it is about perspective. Time is richer than you thought. It can stretch and bend, offering many rhythms, many possibilities. Imagine yourself drifting close to the horizon. Your body feels normal, your breath even, your heartbeat steady. Yet if someone far away could see you, they would watch you slow, your movements lengthening into eternity. To them, you would become almost timeless, suspended at the edge. You live two truths at once, steady for yourself, endless for another. This duality soothes you. It shows you that truth is not single. Perspective changes reality. What feels slow to you may feel swift to another. What feels timeless to you may feel fleeting elsewhere. Time is not fixed but relational, a bond between observer and place. Black holes stretch this truth to its extreme. They turn time into landscape, malleable, curved. They show that clocks do not measure something absolute, but something woven with space. And as you rest with this awareness, you realize that your own life too feels time in many ways. An hour in joy feels like minutes. A minute in pain feels like hours. Time is not only measured by clocks, it is measured by experience. You breathe slowly, letting this realization soften you. Time is not rigid. It is alive, flowing differently in different hearts, different moments. Now imagine watching from afar as a black hole ages. To you, its growth may take billions of years, but to matter falling inward, the journey is brief. Both stories are true, both times exist. The black hole is a reminder that reality holds many rhythms, many layers, each as valid as the other. This thought comforts you. You need not cling to a single pace. You can allow your moments to stretch or compress. You can rest in the fluidity of time. Scientists have wondered, could time dilation near black holes allow glimpses into the universe's future? Could a traveller linger at the edge, then return to find centuries past? In principle, the physics allows it. In practice, the hazards of gravity and radiation make it unlikely. But the dream itself remains, a dream of stepping outside the ordinary flow, of touching eternity in a single breath. You rest in this dream. It does not matter whether you travel there with your body. You can travel with your imagination, drifting to the edge, watching time stretch into infinity. In this dream, you see galaxies whirl faster, stars flare and fade, the cosmos evolving in a rush while your own seconds remain slow. Time itself becomes your cradle. You float within it, rocked by its rhythms, calmed by its flow. And as you linger at this edge, another question forms. If black holes stretch time so deeply, what happens to light itself as it struggles to escape their pull? Does it too slow, fade, and bend until it becomes part of the darkness? The question glimmers softly, guiding you onward into the next mystery. Time has slowed in your imagination, stretched by the gravity of a black hole. You have drifted with that rhythm, patient and calm. Now your attention turns to light itself, the swiftest traveller, the universe's messenger. Light moves faster than anything, crossing space in an instant, carrying stories from stars to your eyes. Yet near a black hole, even light feels the weight of gravity. Even photons, massless and tireless, must struggle. Picture a beam of light leaving the surface of a star. It moves outward without resistance, its energy steady, its colour unchanged. But near a black hole the story shifts. Gravity bends its path, pulling it inward, curving its journey. If the photon is launched with enough distance, it can arc away, looping slightly before finding freedom. If it is borne too near, it spirals inward, unable to climb. Between these extremes lies the photon sphere, a place where light itself orbits. Imagine that, a circle of pure brightness, photons racing endlessly around the black hole, balanced between escape and capture. To an observer, the photon sphere appears as part of the glowing ring, the edge of visibility, the last halo of light before silence. You breathe into this image, a circle of fire surrounding darkness, light, trapped not by walls but by gravity's curve. It is not destruction but transformation, a reminder that even the swiftest must sometimes yield. When photons do escape, they are changed. Their climb out of the gravitational well stretches them, elongates their wavelength. Blue turns to red, energy becomes softer. This is gravitational redshift, the fading of light as it struggles against gravity. To you, the light appears weaker, gentler, as though sighing from exhaustion. It is not lost, but altered, carrying with it the mark of where it came from. This soothes you. It reminds you that struggle leaves traces, not always scars, but transformations. Just as light carries the memory of its climb, you too carry the imprint of your own journeys. You are shaped, but not erased. Now imagine standing far from the black hole, watching as matter glows in its disk. The light flickers, bends and stretches. Some photons curve around the hole before reaching you, delayed but not denied. Others skim the horizon, stretched into faint whispers. Together they form the glowing halo, the outline of absence captured in presence. It is humbling to realize that what you see is not the black hole itself, but light's last struggle, photons telling their story as they flee or falter. The image is a record not of darkness, but of light meeting its limit. You let this paradox calm you. Darkness is defined by light, and light by darkness. Each gives meaning to the other. Without the shadow, the ring would not shine. Without the glow, the shadow would not be seen. Light's struggle also reveals another truth, that nothing exists alone. Photons do not vanish. They surrender their energy to the black hole, adding to its mass. In doing so, they continue the cycle of transformation. What seems like an ending is also a continuation, a contribution to the whole. You pause to rest in this reflection. Struggle does not erase value. Even surrender can feed something larger. The photons remind you that letting go is not failure. It is part of the rhythm of existence. Astronomers study these shifts in light carefully. By measuring how photons bend and redden, they learn the size and spin of black holes, the behavior of matter near horizons. Light's last struggle becomes not only beauty but knowledge, a guide to understanding what cannot be seen directly. This too is soothing. Even in its fading, light teaches. Even in its surrender, it leaves a gift. You too can leave traces of meaning in your giving, in your letting go. Now picture yourself drifting closer near the photon sphere. Around you, light whirls in endless circles, chasing itself through the curved geometry of space for years. Some photons escape, darting outward like sparks. Others fall inward, silent. The scene is both frantic and calm, a balance between motion and stillness. You float within it, weightless, part of the luminous tide. You breathe with this vision. Each inhale gathers light, each exhale releases it. You feel the photons' rhythm, the way they persist, the way they change. Their story is your lullaby tonight, and then your thoughts expand further. If light can bend, orbit, and fade near a black hole, what happens when entire stars wander too close? What becomes of suns caught in the same gravity that traps photons? The question glimmers softly, like a star nearing the horizon. Light's last struggle still lingers in your mind, photons bending, fading, some escaping, some yielding. Now let your imagination widen to something larger. Not a single photon, but an entire star, bright and burning, drifting too close to a black hole's horizon. This is not the quiet surrender of particles, but the dramatic unweaving of a sun. It is called a tidal disruption event, and though violent in nature, it unfolds in the vast calm of the cosmos. Picture a star wandering through its galaxy. For millions of years it orbits peacefully, circling its neighbours, shining steadily. Yet gravity is everywhere and paths are long. One day, slowly, quietly, the star's orbit takes it near the hidden presence of a black hole. The star does not know what waits. It drifts closer, pulled ever more strongly. The difference in gravity across its body grows. The side of the star nearer the black hole is tugged harder than the far side. This stretching force is called a tidal force, the same kind of pull that moves oceans on Earth under the moon's gravity, but infinitely stronger. The star lengthens, distorts, pulled into a shape like a teardrop. Then the fabric unravels. Gas from the star is drawn outward, spilling into space, wrapping into long streams of luminous material. The star is no longer whole. Its body stretches into ribbons, some flung outward into the galaxy, some captured into the black hole's embrace. You breathe slowly with this image. It is destruction, yes, but not emptiness. The gas glows as it falls, ignited by friction, forming bright arcs and spirals. For a brief time, the feeding black hole shines with new brilliance, a flare visible across the universe. The end of one star becomes the illumination of many skies. This thought soothes you. It shows that even endings carry beauty, that unraveling can still create radiance. The cosmos does not waste, it transforms. Astronomers observe these tidal disruption events with telescopes sensitive to many kinds of light: X-rays, ultraviolet, visible, and radio. Each wavelength tells part of the story. The sudden flare reveals a star's last cry, its light magnified by the pull of gravity. These rare events allow scientists to study black holes that would otherwise remain silent. A black hole that rarely fears becomes briefly visible when a star drifts too close, its presence betrayed by the glow of destruction. You let this image calm you further. Even silence can be interrupted by brilliance. Even hidden things reveal themselves when touched by chance encounters. Imagine now the star's matter spiraling inward, some of it forming a temporary disk glowing fiercely before crossing the horizon. Other streams arc away, hurled back into the galaxy. The black hole consumes, but it does not keep everything. Some of what it draws in is given back, scattered outward, feeding interstellar clouds that may one day form new stars, new planets, new stories. The cycle is endless. One star ends, yet its fragments seed the next generation. Death becomes birth. Absence becomes presence. You rest in this cycle. It mirrors the rhythms of your own life. Things end, and yet from their endings come beginnings. Loss gives way to renewal. The star torn apart is not gone. It is transformed into light, into gas, into the building blocks of future worlds. Now picture yourself drifting near such an event. You watch from a safe distance as the star unravels. At first, its light is steady, then stretched, then scattered. The ribbons of gas glow like trails of fireflies, winding and curling into the darkness. The black hole at the center remains silent, but its influence shapes everything. You float among the ribbons, surrounded by glowing strands, as if the universe itself were weaving and unweaving before your eyes. The sight is both dramatic and gentle in your imagination. There is no sound, no explosion to disturb you. Only light, only motion, only transformation. You are calmed by the rhythm of falling and scattering, by the quiet inevitability of change. Astronomers say that such events happen perhaps once every 100,000 years in a typical galaxy. Rare, but certain. The cosmos waits patiently for stars to wander, for gravity to weave its patterns. The rarity makes the sight more precious, a reminder that beauty often comes unexpectedly, arising from chance encounters. You let this reminder sink in. Life too offers rare moments of brilliance, fleeting but unforgettable. They may come from change, from endings, from unexpected turns. Yet they carry light that lingers, light that travels far. The ribbons of stellar gas stretch onward, some looping back, some carried away. The black hole glows with their final energy, then quiets once more, returning to its hidden stillness. The star is gone, but its memory lives in the light that reached telescopes, in the data stored by scientists, in the story carried across the universe. You breathe with this thought. Memory itself is like light, shaped by loss, carried across time, glowing long after the moment has passed. The black hole remains, silent again, patient for the next wanderer. Around it, the galaxy continues, stars orbiting, nebulae glowing, spirals unfolding. The tidal disruption event is a brief flare in an endless calm, a moment of transformation in a sea of stillness. You let yourself rest in that sea now. The cosmos is vast, patient, endless. You're a small part of it, yet connected, bound by the same fabric, touched by the same rhythms. And as you drift deeper into calm, another question begins to form. If stars can be unmade by black holes, what about galaxies themselves? When galaxies collide, how do their black holes, their stars, their spirals weave together into something new? The thought lingers like a ribbon of light, leading you gently toward the next mystery. The image of a star unraveling still glows in your mind, ribbons of gas pulled into streams of light. Now your thoughts widen further to something grander still. Not one star, not even many, but entire galaxies approaching one another. Imagine the scale. Billions of stars, countless clouds of gas, entire spirals drifting closer over millions of years. The meeting of galaxies is not a sudden crash, but a slow dance, a weaving of vast structures into something new. Picture two spiral galaxies in the darkness, arms extended, like dancers reaching toward each other. Their shapes are delicate, their spirals graceful, but gravity pulls them together. Slowly they draw near, their stars passing without collision, too far apart to strike directly, yet close enough to feel each other's pull. The galaxies begin to distort, arms stretching, bridges forming, tidal tails of stars flung outward like luminous ribbons. You rest in this vision. It is not violence, but choreography, a slow cosmic ballet. The galaxies curve into one another, their forms changing, their stars rearranging into new shapes. Over hundreds of millions of years, the two become one, their spirals dissolving into a larger, more rounded galaxy. What was once two is now united. At their centres, the galaxy carries a supermassive black hole. As the galaxies merge to their hearts, the black holes spiral toward one another, circling like partners, sending gravitational waves outward, until at last they fuse into a single, larger heart. The new galaxy is born with a new centre, stronger and quieter, anchoring its stars. This thought soothes you. Collision is not always destruction. It can be creation, union, transformation. The galaxies do not vanish, they become something greater, something new. Astronomers have captured glimpses of such mergers. Telescopes reveal distorted shapes, galaxies stretched into arcs, their stars scattering into tidal streams. Some glow brightly as bursts of new star formation ignite. Clouds of gas, compressed by the encounter, collapse into clusters of newborn suns. The collision triggers life as well as endings, birth as well as loss. You let this paradox comfort you. Change may be unsettling, but it carries renewal. From the union of galaxies comes new light, new stars, new worlds. The universe teaches that transformation is not to be feared, but to be welcomed as part of its rhythm. Now imagine drifting amid such a merger. Around you, stars sweep past in wide arcs, moving faster than imagination, yet to your eyes it feels calm, like drifting in a vast, slow current. Streams of stars form glowing rivers curving across the sky. Nebulae ignite with new brilliance. It is not chaos, but harmony on a scale so vast you can only surrender to its beauty. Your breath slows as you picture this. The merging galaxies cradle you in their arms, vast and luminous. You feel no fear, only wonder, as their shapes weave together. The Milky Way itself will one day merge with the Andromeda Galaxy, our nearest large neighbour. In 4 billion years, their spirals will touch, distort, and unite. The sun may still shine then, drifting into new orbits, its night skies transformed with new patterns of stars. You rest in this knowledge, not as a warning, but as a lullaby of patience. The future is long, the universe moves slowly, you are safe in its present calm. The merging of galaxies also creates new centres of gravity, reshaping the paths of stars. Some stars are thrown outward into space, exiled into darkness, wandering alone. Others find new homes in clusters, bound to fresh patterns. The galaxy becomes not a ruin, but a reorganization, a rewriting of structure. This too feels like a lesson. Life changes, sometimes scattering, sometimes uniting. What is familiar may dissolve, but from its dissolution comes new form, new harmony. The merging galaxies remind you that endings are always beginnings in disguise. You imagine looking back after billions of years. The two spirals that once danced together are gone, replaced by a single larger galaxy, rounder, brighter, filled with new stars. At its centre, a larger black hole rests, its gravity anchoring the whole. The memory of collision is written into its shape, into the streams of stars that trace its past. The new galaxy carries history in its form, just as you carry your own history within you. This comforts you deeply. You're reminded that you too are a union of past and present, shaped by encounters, transformed by meetings. Your life is not scattered, but woven into a whole. The galaxies drift onward in their new shape, their stars continuing their journeys, their orbits settled into balance once again. The dance of collision has ended, but its music lingers in the stars it has scattered, the light it has created. You breathe in, imagining that final stillness. A galaxy reborn, vast and quiet, carrying within it the memory of union. And yet, as you rest in this calm, another question arises. If galaxies can merge, scattering stars and forming new ones, what becomes of the stars flung free into the dark? How do they live, alone between galaxies, wandering in the silence? The thought drifts gently, leading you into the next mystery. You have drifted through the merging of galaxies, watching spirals fold into one another, stars scattered into new patterns. But not all stars remain bound. Some are flung outward during the dance, hurled away by gravity's tug, sent wandering into the wide spaces between galaxies. These are the lonely stars, intergalactic travelers with no home, drifting in darkness deeper than any night. Picture one such star. Perhaps it was once part of a spiral arm, circling calmly with billions of neighbours. When galaxies merged, gravitational tides pulled it outward, accelerating it until it escaped entirely. Now it drifts alone, light pouring into a void where no galaxy shines nearby. Around it lies emptiness, vast stretches of space, thin wisps of gas, and little else. You breathe into this image. The star is solitary, yet it still burns. Its light continues outward, patient, steady, even if no planet or observer is near to see it. The lonely star is proof that shining does not depend on audience. To shine is simply what a star does. Astronomers call these wanderers intergalactic stars. Some are hurled free by mergers, others by encounters with supermassive black holes that fling them outward like stones from a sling. Some travel so fast they leave their galaxies forever, racing across intergalactic space at speeds of hundreds of kilometers per second. They are rare, but the universe is vast, and millions may wander unseen, spread like fireflies across the cosmic night. You let this idea soothe you. Even in emptiness, presence exists. Even in solitude, light remains. Imagine drifting beside one of these lonely suns. There are no neighbours in the sky, no bright constellations, no crowded Milky Way above. The darkness is nearly total, and yet nearby the star glows, golden or blue, steady in its radiance. You float near it, warmed by its light, aware of the silence beyond. The contrast is striking, one tiny flame against an endless void. But the star does not falter. It does not dim because it is unseen. It burns because that is its nature. You rest in this truth, comforted by the lesson it carries. Your own worth does not depend on recognition. You shine because you are, not because you are watched. Some lonely stars carry planets with them. Imagine a world orbiting such a star, drifting through intergalactic space. Its night skies would be nearly empty. No Milky Way arching overhead, only the solitary glow of its sun and the faint, distant smudge of other galaxies. To live there would be to know solitude on a cosmic scale, and yet that world would still have warmth, light, and perhaps even life. You let this thought cradle you. Solitude is not emptiness. It can be a space for life, for stillness, for quiet beauty. The lonely stars also remind scientists of the hidden richness of the universe. Their faint glow, scattered across voids, contributes to the diffuse background of light that astronomers measure. Even in the emptiest spaces, something shines. Even in silence, there is presence. This comforts you. It tells you that nothing is truly empty, that even voids hold traces of light. Now imagine the journey of such a star. It will drift for billions of years, moving slowly across intergalactic space. Its life will proceed as any star's does. Fusion in its core, gradual aging, eventual fading. When it dies, it may shed its outer layers into space, leaving behind a white dwarf, a neutron star, or even a black hole. Alone, unseen, it still follows the same cycle. Solitude does not change its destiny. You pause in this reflection. The star's life, though unseen, is no less real, no less meaningful. Existence itself is its story. The lonely stars are not tragic. They are reminders of resilience, of constancy. They shine where nothing else shines. They move where nothing else moves. They carry light into places that would otherwise be dark. You breathe slowly, resting in this reminder. Your own light, too, travels beyond what you see. It may touch places you will never know, people you will never meet. Like the lonely stars, your influence extends farther than you imagine. Imagine again drifting in the dark beside one of these stars. The silence is complete, the vastness endless, and yet the light warms you. The star does not ask for more. It burns, it shines, it continues. You are comforted by its steadiness, by the calm persistence of its presence. Astronomers searching for these stars use clever methods. Sometimes they trace their paths back to galaxies, confirming that they were flung away. Sometimes they measure their high speeds, evidence of the sling that sent them outward. Each discovery is a reminder that even the loneliest wanderers leave signs of their journey. This too comforts you. Even in solitude, traces remain. Even in silence, presence leaves a mark. The lonely stars drift on, patient travellers in a vast sea. Their light crosses voids, faint but enduring, reaching galaxies far away, perhaps touching eyes that will one day see them. They remind you that solitude is not the end of meaning, but another form of existence, another way to be. You let yourself rest in their company now. The silence of intergalactic space is deep, but it is not frightening. It is calming, like a blanket of stillness. The star beside you glows softly, steady against the void. You are held by its presence, warmed by its light. And as you linger in this calm, another thought arises. Stars can wander alone, but most belong to galaxies, vast communities bound by gravity. What is the nature of these great families of light? How do galaxies in their billions shape the universe itself? The question glimmers softly, like a star at the edge of vision, leading you onward. The lonely stars still drift in your mind, shining bravely in solitude, carrying light into the void. Now let your thoughts turn back to the many, to the great gatherings of stars that make up galaxies. If solitary suns are rare wanderers, galaxies are their homes, their families, vast communities bound together by gravity's patient hand. Picture the night sky on Earth, free from city lights. The Milky Way arches above you, a faint river of light. To your eyes it is a soft band, but in truth it is billions of stars, each one a sun, each one with its own story. You live inside this family, your sun one member among hundreds of billions. The Milky Way is your home galaxy, your cosmic city. Galaxies come in many forms. Some are spirals like the Milky Way and Andromeda, their arms curving gracefully, rich with gas and newborn stars. Others are ellipticals, vast ovals of older stars, smooth and quiet. Still others are irregular, scattered in shape, distorted by encounters. Each type carries a history, a record of how it formed and what it has endured. You breathe into this vision. Each galaxy is like a family with its own story, its own personality. Some are young and bright, filled with new life. Others are old and calm, their days of star birth mostly behind them. None are identical, yet all are bound by the same rules, the same gravity, the same rhythms. The Milky Way itself is a spiral with several arms, filled with nebulae where stars are born, with clusters where stars gather, with quiet regions where older suns drift in peace. At its heart lies Sagittarius, a star, the supermassive black hole you have already visited in imagination. Though unseen, it binds the galaxy, anchoring its spirals, holding its stars together. The Milky Way is not only your home but your cradle, carrying you through space as it orbits within a larger cluster. Clusters themselves are families of galaxies. The Milky Way and Andromeda belong to the local group, a gathering of dozens of galaxies, some large, some small. And beyond the local group lies the Virgo supercluster. And beyond that, still greater structures, the cosmic web itself, filaments of galaxies stretching across the universe. Families within families, gatherings within gatherings. You rest in this thought. Nothing stands alone. Even galaxies, vast and bright, belong to larger structures. You too are part of layers of belonging. Family, community, humanity, Earth, galaxy, universe. You are both small and included, a thread in the fabric of all. Galaxies are not only gatherings of stars, they are also engines of creation. Within their arms, clouds of gas collapse to form new suns. Within their cores, black holes regulate growth. Their histories are written in bursts of star formation, in quiet pauses, in collisions that reshape them. Each galaxy is a living story unfolding across billions of years. Imagine drifting outside the Milky Way, far enough to see its full shape. You see the central bulge glowing golden, spiral arms stretching outward, dust lanes weaving through them, clusters of blue stars shining brightly. It is a whirl of light, delicate and strong, turning slowly on cosmic timescales. And within it, unseen, is you. Your planet, your life, your breath, part of the whole. This vision comforts you. It reminds you that you are not separate from the great family of light. You belong to its rhythm, carried in its orbit, part of its story. Other galaxies shine in the night as well. Through telescopes, astronomers see countless forms, pinwheels, ovals, rings, chains appear, klössl, others so distant that their light has travelled billions of years to reach us. To look at them is to look back in time, to witness the universe in earlier ages. Each galaxy is a chapter in the cosmic book, each one a memory preserved in light. You let this realization ease you. The night sky is not only beauty, it is history. Every point of light carries a story across ages, reminding you that the universe is both vast and connected, patient and generous. Galaxies also interact. They pass near each other, tugging with gravity, distorting shapes, triggering bursts of new stars. Sometimes they merge, as the Milky Way and Andromeda will one day merge. These encounters are not random chaos, but slow processes, weaving new families, creating new forms. The universe is not static. It is always reshaping, always growing. You breathe deeply with this awareness. Change is not separate from belonging. It is part of it. Galaxies themselves remind you that families shift, evolve, transform, yet remain whole in new ways. The great families of light also teach balance. Gravity draws them together, but expansion pushes them apart. Some clusters stay bound while others drift away into the widening universe. The balance between pull and expansion shapes the cosmic web, the grand pattern of all galaxies. You rest in this balance, soothed by the idea that even the universe itself seeks harmony. Imagine yourself drifting among galaxies now. Around you are countless islands of stars, each glowing faintly in the dark sea. They stretch in filaments, connect in clusters, form webs of light. You float among them, calm and weightless, part of the great family. This vision becomes your cradle. The galaxies surround you like lanterns in the night, each one a reminder of belonging, each one a symbol of connection. You are not alone in the dark, you are carried by a family of light. And yet, as you rest in this comfort, another thought arises. If galaxies are families of stars and black holes are their hearts, what lies beyond the families themselves? What are the limits of what we can know, of what we can see? The question lingers softly, like the glow of a distant spiral guiding you toward the next mystery. You have drifted among the great families of light, galaxies shining like lanterns across the cosmic web. Their shapes, their hearts, their stories all reveal the grandeur of the universe. Yet even as you gaze outward, a truth emerges. There are limits to what can be seen, to what can be known. These limits are not harsh walls, but gentle horizons, soft reminders that mystery endures. Tonight you rest with those boundaries, letting them soothe you instead of trouble you. Imagine standing at the edge of the sea on Earth. The water stretches outward, endless to your eyes, yet you know it curves beyond sight. The horizon is not the end of the ocean, only the limit of your view. In the same way, the universe offers horizons, distances beyond which light has not yet reached us, places hidden not by absence but by perspective. One such horizon is the cosmic light horizon. The universe has an age, about 13.8 billion years, and light can only travel so far in that time. Beyond a certain distance, further than about 46 billion light years, no light has had time to reach us. We look outward, and then we see no farther. The universe may continue beyond, but it is veiled, waiting. You breathe into this thought. The horizon is not a barrier. It is an invitation to imagine, a reminder that discovery is never complete. You can rest in knowing that not all truths must be held now. Closer still, black holes themselves give you another horizon, the event horizon. It is the point beyond which no light, no signal can escape. To you it appears as the ultimate limit, the final boundary of sight. But to the cosmos, it is simply another veil, another threshold of mystery. The event horizon reminds you that some stories are written in silence, hidden from view but still real. These limits are not failures. They are part of the fabric of reality. They create space for wonder, for patience, for imagination. You do not need to see everything to belong. You do not need to know everything to rest in awe. Now imagine yourself drifting near the edge of the observable universe. Galaxies stretch outward, growing fainter, redder, as their light is stretched by expansion. Beyond them lies silence, not emptiness, but absence of signals. You float at that horizon, aware of how much lies unseen, and instead of fear, you feel calm. The unknown is not a void, it is a cradle for curiosity, a gentle reminder that the story continues. Scientists too face these horizons. Their equations falter at singularities, their telescopes stop at cosmic distances. They reach limits not of effort but of possibility, and yet they are not discouraged. They listen to the silences, they learn from the boundaries, they let the unknown be a guide. You rest in their example, soothed by the thought that questions are as valuable as answers. Limits also appear in your own life. There are things you cannot know, futures you cannot see, mysteries within yourself you have not yet explored. These are not failures. They are horizons, marking where you stand now, inviting you to grow, to imagine, to dream. You breathe gently, letting this truth settle within you. Limits are not prisons, they are invitations. They remind you that wonder endures, that discovery is never finished. Consider again the black hole's horizon. From afar you see it as an edge, a place beyond which nothing returns. But near it, space and time continue unseen. The horizon is not the end of the universe, it is the end of visibility. Reality itself continues beyond, whether or not you can know it. This comforts you. What is unseen is still real. What is unknown is still part of the whole. Imagine now sitting quietly on Earth, gazing at the stars. You see so much and yet so little of what exists. And still, the sight is enough. The band of the Milky Way, the glow of planets, the faint haze of distant galaxies, all remind you that the universe is vast, and you are included in its story. You do not need to see all to feel belonging. The gentle limits of knowledge cradle you like a blanket. They invite you to rest, to stop striving, to let mystery be part of peace. You do not need every answer tonight. You only need to know that you are part of the fabric, seen and unseen, known and unknown. And as you drift deeper into this calm, another thought arises. If horizons mark what we cannot see, what of the future? What will the universe become in its long journey forward? What fate awaits the galaxies, the stars, the black holes themselves? The question glimmers softly at the edge of thought, like a new horizon. You have rested with the gentle limits of knowledge, horizons that remind you of mystery. Now your imagination drifts forward, not just across space, but across time itself, into the deep future of the universe. The present sky is bright. Galaxies gleam, stars are born, planets orbit suns. But what lies ahead in ages beyond imagining, when time stretches farther than your mind can hold? The far future is not frightening. It is slow, patient, vast. Tonight you walk quietly into it, step by step, letting the darkness cradle you. Begin with stars. They are the engines of light today, fusing hydrogen into helium, shining with steady fire. But their fuel is finite. The smallest stars, red dwarfs, may burn for trillions of years, longer than the universe has yet existed. But even they will one day fade, their flames extinguished, their embers cooling into dark remnants. The largest stars live fast and die young, exploding into supernovae or collapsing into black holes. The medium stars, like your sun, will swell into giants, shed their outer layers, and leave behind white dwarfs that slowly cool. Picture the universe when the last star dies. No suns will shine in galaxies, no nebulae will glow. The night sky will be darker than anything you know. Yet this darkness will not arrive suddenly. It will come gently over immense spans of time, stars winking out one by one, like candles extinguished at the end of a long gathering. You breathe into this image. It is not harsh, but peaceful, a quieting, a soft settling of the universe into rest. Even as stars fade, black holes will remain. They will outlast everything else, silent guardians of mass and memory. Some will be small remnants of single stars. Others will be supermassive, anchoring the centers of galaxies. They will drift through the darkness, patient and enduring. But even black holes are not eternal. Stephen Hawking predicted that they slowly emit radiation, a faint glow that causes them to lose mass over unimaginable spans of time. The smallest black holes will vanish first, evaporating into bursts of energy. Larger ones will last longer, their lifetimes stretching across numbers so vast they blur meaning. Eventually, even the supermassive hearts will fade, dissolving into the fabric of space. You let this thought soften you. even the strongest yield, even the most enduring surrender. The far future of darkness is not abrupt but graceful, a slow unwinding of the cosmos, a return of matter to silence. What then remains? Space will expand, galaxies will drift apart, their stars long gone. The universe will grow colder, emptier, quieter. Perhaps only scattered particles will persist, thinly spread across an endless expanse. This is the heat death of the universe, a state where energy is evenly distributed, where no more work can be done, where time stretches on without change. Yet even this is not despair, it is simply another chapter, another form of being. The universe does not end, it transforms. Its brightness becomes silence, its order becomes stillness. You rest in the idea that endings are not failures, they are the natural rhythm of all things. Now imagine yourself floating in this far future. Around you, no stars burn, no galaxies shine, and yet you are calm, surrounded by the vastness. The darkness is complete but not empty. It is filled with memory, with history, with the quiet presence of what has been. You feel the peace of a universe at rest. You breathe with this vision. Inhale the patience of ages, exhale the calm of eternity. The far future also teaches humility. Human lives are brief compared to stars, and stars are brief compared to galaxies. Yet all are part of the same story, all connected by the same fabric of space-time. Your moment is small, but it belongs to the same universe that will one day rest in darkness. The same laws guide both. This thought comforts you. You do not need to stretch across eternity to matter. Your moment is enough. The far future does not diminish the present. It deepens it, reminding you that even the briefest light is precious against the dark. Scientists still wonder whether the story ends as heat death, or if other fates may unfold. Perhaps the universe will collapse back upon itself in a big crunch. Perhaps it will cycle through births and deaths endlessly. Perhaps new physics, still hidden, will shape an ending we cannot yet imagine. These questions remain open, mysteries waiting for voices yet unborn. You let these possibilities soothe you. The uncertainty is not troubling, it is gentle, a reminder that knowledge continues, that curiosity is always alive. You do not need every answer tonight. You only need to rest in the rhythm of questions. The far future of darkness mirrors your own rhythms of rest. Just as the universe will one day quiet, so too do you quiet at the end of each day. Sleep is not an end but a pause, a restoration, a transformation. The silence of night prepares you for the light of morning. The silence of the universe may too be part of a cycle beyond imagining. You breathe slowly, sinking into this metaphor. The universe sleeps, you sleep, all part of the same pattern. Darkness is not absence, it is rest. And yet, as you linger in this calm, another thought begins to form. If even black holes, the most enduring of all, can evaporate into silence, what becomes of the knowledge they carry, the information of everything that has fallen within? The question glimmers softly, like a spark in the dark, leading you onward. The far future of darkness still lingers in your imagination. Stars fading, galaxies drifting apart, black holes waiting in the quiet. Yet even those black holes, the most enduring of all, may not be eternal. In the 1970s, Stephen Hawking discovered something astonishing. Black holes are not perfectly set. They whisper faintly through a glow now called Hawking radiation. Picture a black hole, its horizon sharp and silent. According to classical physics, nothing escapes once it crosses that boundary. Yet quantum physics adds subtlety. At the smallest scales, space itself trembles with uncertainty. Particles and antiparticles flicker into existence and then vanish, brief pairs created from the vacuum. Near a black hole's horizon, one member of the pair may fall inward while the other escapes. To an observer far away, it looks as though the black hole itself is emitting a faint particle, glowing gently against the void. This glow is unimaginably faint. For a black hole with the mass of a star, the radiation is weaker than the warmth of a single candle stretched across the cosmos. For a supermassive giant, it is even fainter. But across unimaginable spans of time, this tiny glow matters. The black hole loses mass, particle by particle, whisper by whisper. Slowly it evaporates, until at last it vanishes in a final burst of energy. You breathe with this vision. The strongest objects in the cosmos, the most enduring anchors of galaxies, are not eternal. They too yield. They too transform. Nothing lasts forever. Not stars, not galaxies, not black holes. Yet nothing is wasted. Even in their fading, black holes give back, returning energy to the universe. The discovery of Hawking radiation also raised a deeper puzzle, the information paradox. When matter falls into a black hole, its details seem lost. The black hole absorbs the mass, but the pattern, the information of what fell, disappears beyond the horizon. According to quantum theory, though, information cannot simply vanish. It must persist in some form. If black holes evaporate, where does the information go? You rest in this question. Is not a failure but a mystery, a gentle horizon of knowledge. Some scientists believe the information escapes with the radiation, hidden in subtle correlations. Others suggest it remains encoded at the horizon itself, stored like etchings on the surface. Still others imagine new physics, deeper layers of reality, waiting to be discovered. For now, the truth remains veiled. And yet the paradox comforts you. It reminds you that the universe does not yield its secrets too easily. It holds some back, encouraging patience, imagination, humility. You need not know everything tonight. You can rest in the presence of mystery. Imagine yourself drifting near a black hole's horizon. You do not fall in. You float at a safe distance, watching the faint whispers of radiation. They are invisible to your eyes, softer than any glow you know, but you sense their presence. The black hole is not perfectly silent. It hums gently, giving back what it has taken piece by piece. This hum soothes you. It is like the exhale of the universe, a reminder that nothing is ever completely closed. Even the darkest places breathe. Think of how this reflects your own life. There are times when you feel that something has been lost, an experience, a moment, a memory. Yet often traces remain. They surface in unexpected ways. A scent, a song, a thought that returns without warning. Nothing is ever entirely gone. It changes form, it whispers back, just as the black hole whispers its energy into space. The paradox of information is unresolved, but perhaps that is the point. It leaves space for wonder, for generations yet to come. You rest in the idea that unanswered questions are not emptiness. They are seeds, waiting to grow. Now picture the far future again. Black holes evaporate slowly, whispering their radiation into the void. Each one, when gone, leaves behind silence, but also the energy it returned. The universe may grow cold, but it carries those whispers, faint imprints of everything that has fallen. Even in darkness, memory lingers. This comforts you. You are reminded that even in endings, traces endure. Even when things seem gone, their influence remains. You breathe gently, inhaling the thought of persistence, exhaling the thought of transformation. Hawking radiation becomes your lullaby tonight. A faint glow in the dark, steady and patient, too soft for eyes, but strong enough to carry meaning. And as you rest, another question begins to form. If black holes whisper as they fade, what do those whispers mean for us? The ones listening, imagining, wondering. What role does our own curiosity play in shaping how the universe is understood? The thought glimmers like a quiet ember, drawing you toward the next chapter. The whispers of black holes still linger in your thoughts, soft radiation, patient signals, reminders that nothing is ever fully lost. And now, at the end of this long journey through darkness and light, your imagination turns gently back to yourself. For you are not merely a watcher of the cosmos, you are part of it. Its story is your story, its rhythms, your rhythms. Tonight, you rest within that truth. Begin with your body. Every atom you carry has a history older than Earth itself. The carbon in your breath, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood were all forged in the hearts of stars. Billions of years ago, suns lived and died, scattering their elements into space. From that dust, new stars and planets formed. Among them was your sun, your Earth, your home. You are made of stardust, shaped from the ashes of ancient fire. You breathe slowly, feeling this connection. Inhale, and you welcome the memory of stars. Exhale, and you release it back into the universe. Your breath itself is cosmic, a cycle shared with trees, oceans, skies, and galaxies. You are not separate. You're a continuation. Your mind, too, belongs to the cosmos. The neurons that fire in your brain are tiny echoes of cosmic networks. The way stars cluster into galaxies, galaxies into filaments, filaments into webs, all mirror the connections within you. The universe is vast, and yet its patterns repeat in your thoughts, your dreams, your imagination. To wonder about black holes, to imagine galaxies, to listen to cosmic stories, this is the universe reflecting upon itself through you. This realization calms you. You're not small in a way that diminishes you. You're small in a way that includes you, makes you part of something immeasurably grand. Your presence is a note in the choir, a thread in the web, a light among lights. Imagine yourself lying beneath the night sky. The stars above are distant, their light travelling for centuries to reach you. Yet you are not beneath them. You are among them, part of the same structure, bound by the same fabric of space-time. To gaze upward is not to look out, but to look in and to see the larger body you belong to. Your life, brief compared to galaxies, is no less precious. A star may burn for billions of years, but its light is no more meaningful than yours. Meaning is not measured in length, it is measured in presence, in connection, in the way light, however brief, touches the darkness. You rest in this truth, soothed by the idea that your existence is complete simply by being. The cosmic story is not only about vastness, it is also about intimacy. Each black hole, each star, each galaxy plays its role, but so do you. You wonder, you breathe, you love, you rest. These are not small acts, they are the universe in expression. To hold a hand, to share a word, to feel warmth on your skin, these are as much a part of the cosmos as spirals of galaxies. The scale differs, but the belonging is the same. You breathe gently with this awareness. Your heart beats with rhythms older than the Milky Way. Your body carries the memory of explosions that lit the early universe. You are both ancient and new, both stardust and spirit. Now imagine the long journey you have taken in thought. You began at horizons, where light bends and time slows. You drifted inward to singularities, outward to galaxies, across departures in space-time through collisions and quiet limits. And each step has brought you not away from yourself, but closer to the truth that you are woven into it all. The story of black holes is also your story, because you are part of the same fabric. This thought is your cradle now. You need not strive to belong, you already do. You need not prove yourself to the stars, you are their kin. The universe is vast, and it is also here, in your breath, your heartbeat, your rest tonight. To sleep is to join its rhythm, to become part of its patient unfolding. As the galaxies turn, as stars burn and fade, as black holes whisper, so too do you rest and renew. You imagine yourself floating now, weightless in the cosmic sea. Galaxies glow like lanterns around you. Black holes rest at their centers, ripples pass quietly through space-time. And at the center of it all is you, not as separate, but as included, a presence among presences, a voice among voices. You breathe one last deep breath. Inhale, and you gather the cosmos. Exhale, and you release yourself back into it. You are complete, you are part of the story, and as your eyes close, the thought lingers softly. The universe is not only out there, it is within you, always, already, forever.